came before me. So that they too can provide shoulders for others to stand on one day. NOAH, Nurturing Orphans of AIDS for Humanity, was founded 12 years ago to provide shoulders to communities to help the vulnerable children within them. We've worked with 101 communities and supported tens of thousands of vulnerable children. NOAH Canada was founded 7 years ago to support the work going on in Southern Africa and also to begin working with vulnerable children in Canada's north. It is my privilege to introduce you today to Bailey Davis, who has been working with us for 2 years implementing this programming in the field. She's been working on First Nations reserves for the last 2 years. She's worked in 8 First Nations reserves, implementing our Painted Turtle Arts Camp programming, and has also worked in Africa. So today, I've decided to ask Bailey to share her experiences with you so that you can have that perspective.
Children are children everywhere, and every child deserves the right to not only survive, but to thrive. It is also fundamental for every adult to do whatever they need to do to ensure that this happens. I want to begin by taking a moment to think about what we need in order to survive. Think in your mind, make a list. What do you need to survive on a daily basis? I think most of us can probably come up with that list pretty easily. We need something to eat, we need clean water to drink, and we need a safe place to lay our heads at night. I think we can all agree that these should be fundamental rights that every child should have. Now I want you to think about what you need in order to thrive. This list may not be as easy to imagine. First, we have to think about what it means to thrive. If we look at the definition of the word, to thrive means to make steady progress, to flourish, and to grow strongly and vigorously. So if we bring this back to our personal needs, to thrive means to have what we need not only to just stay alive, but to be better and stronger with each day. Take a moment now and think about what is on your list of what you need to thrive. Perhaps it includes access to good schools like Havergal, community supports, healthcare, or access to enrichment opportunities like sports, art, and music. Now, most of us today, we have access to these things. Ourselves, our children, are not only surviving, they are thriving. Do you not agree that this too should be a right for all children? As it stands today, it is not. There are children everywhere who are surviving, sometimes only just barely, but they don't have what they need to thrive. They are denied their childhood. These children have the same needs as ours. They need food, clean drinking water, and shelter. But more than this, all children love to play, they want to learn, and they notice how much it means to them when someone cares about them, when someone is willing to invest in them to make sure they have a safe and healthy childhood. As adults, investing in childhood is fundamental, not only on a personal level, but on a global one. Investing in children is investing in the seeds of potential that need to be cared for today so they can grow into the possibilities of the future. Children cannot do this on their own, so we cannot turn away. In response to this, I began working with Friends of NOAH Canada, and I quickly found myself face to face with many of the children that they support, everywhere from West Africa to Northern First Nations reserves in Northern Ontario. Now, on the surface, it might not seem like these children have a lot in common, but I quickly learned the opposite is true. All children dissolve into giggles when you make a funny face. They all have the instinct to find or create things in their environment to make a game with. They all swell with accomplishment when they learn something new. This is the same the world over, and these are the seeds of potential that must be watered and cared for. I saw the results of investing in childhood firsthand in the West African country of Burkina Faso. I was there with Serena Candello, who in partnership with Friends of NOAH Canada provides arts-based programming to the children of vulnerable communities. Each day, we would drive to the local primary school where we would sing, dance, paint, draw, and play with the children. And each day, the children would run alongside our truck as it approached, cheering, laughing, singing at the top of their lungs. These children barely had what they needed in order to survive. And yet here they were leaping at the opportunity to thrive. It didn't matter how hot it was, how dry, whether or not they had a full tummy. They were singing. I learned then that children can teach me more about how to find joy and happiness in life than I could ever hope to teach them. I also learned that turning away would never again be an option. Children have a remarkable power to find joy and happiness in life, regardless of their situations. But this cannot make up for the lack of food and shelter, for the absence of nurturing and hope. The lack of these take away a child's freedom to thrive. They destroy the path of child development because of circumstance. This is wrong. It is wrong because every child should be enabled to thrive. And this is where Friends of Noah Canada steps in. What first intrigued me about their model of working with children, and in fact what I think makes it so successful, is that they really understand how to support a child in a holistic and sustainable way. Not only do they focus on the child's survival needs, which are of course of the utmost importance and what most charitable organizations focus on, but they also take as much energy to focus on what the child needs to thrive. A child cannot thrive if they are hungry. So Friends of Noah Canada provides nutrition centers for the children. A child cannot thrive if they are not safe and protected. So Friends of Noah Canada empowers community members to come together in a network of care, what we refer to as ARCs, to look after the children and make sure they're safe and supervised. A child cannot be fully prepared to learn without educational support. So Friends of Noah Canada brings in early childhood development with trained personnel to support the children and their learning. A child cannot really grow into an empowered young adult if they do not connect with their own sense of joy and wonder. So Friends of Noah Canada brings in arts programming to help them unleash their child's spirit. Friends of Noah Canada also recognizes the phenomenal power of partnership. We join forces with some of the most effective programs to give the children everything they need to thrive. These programs are intelligent. They are intelligent because they are fiscally responsible, culturally adaptable, community-driven, and highly effective. We partnered with TedxHavergalCollege and the One Laptop Per Child program to help children learn about logic, thinking ahead, spatial relations, and it also helps them connect with the power of technology at a very young stage. More recently, we partnered with Girls Helping Girls, which sees some really phenomenal young women from right here at Havergal raising money so that young women in South Africa can go to school. We partnered with the Big Little Caravan of Joy to provide the arts-based programming I mentioned. This helps the children connect to the world around them through the natural language of play. But most importantly of all, Friends of Noah Canada does this by empowering the community themselves to look after the children in their midst. Because no one is better to take care of a child than their own community members. This also makes these programs sustainable and gives ownership of the future back to the community where it rightfully belongs. And as you could see in that video, these communities are only too happy to take care of their own children because they know, like we do, how fundamental it is to invest in a child. And as these children grow up into empowered, happy young adults, that investment pays off exponentially. It really does take a village to raise a child. And thanks to our modern world, that village has suddenly gotten a lot bigger. We now have the ability to positively impact the life of a child anywhere on the planet, to ensure that they not only survive, but that they thrive. This is what we call a childhood. And some children need this now more than ever. If they do not get adequate food, shelter, play, love, and support, if they are denied their childhood, they will forever live on the margins of society and will never be able to take ownership of their future. I am here today to ask you to join me in making sure that that never happens to any child, anywhere. Thank you.